The president of the United States is clearly suffering massive mental decline, and it largely goes unnoticed with the mainstream media, and they sane wash and roll out as if this man is operating on all cylinders. And again, this is a guy who's up in the middle of the night tweeting crazy shit, cares about, building a flag in the middle of a massive, massive international escalation of war between Israel and Iran. And he puts up this used car salesman flag, and he's breathtakingly incompetent. Pumps has some stories to share.
So Donald Trump doesn't even know the basics of the United States history. Let's hear him talk about the Declaration of Independence.
I have ideas as to what to do, but I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean, especially with war. Things change with war. It can go from one extreme to the other. War is very bad. There was no reason for this to be a war. There was no reason for Russia, Ukraine. A lot of wars there was no reason for. You look right up there, I don't know, see the Declaration of Independence, and I say, I wonder if the Civil War, it always seemed to me maybe that could have been solved without losing 600,000 plus people.
The President of the United States does not understand that the Declaration of Independence was written after the Revolutionary War, not the Civil War. This man is a dipshit.
This just goes in the long laundry list of incompetence that this man has. It's clear to me he is in massive, massive cognitive decline. He's never been a history buff. He's ran for president the second time to avoid incarceration because he is a convicted felon. He has the keys to the kingdom, and he is always going to make decisions based on what is best for him and him alone. And he is surrounded by propagandists and people with special interests. And the one thing that is not at the table, the one thing that is not behind that Oval Office desk, despite him not knowing anything, is what is best for this country, what is best for all of these broken people that don't have health insurance, whose wages haven't been raised, who have been dicked over time and time and time again by corporations, who felt like I was going to fight for them. What's going to happen to them? What policy am I going to execute to help working class Americans feel like they can get ahead? And I have bad news for everybody. It's zero. It's none. It was all a lie. The big lie is not that dipshit won the 2020 election. The big lie is that he gives a shit about you. The big lie is that he cares about the working class. And this is an opportunity for Democrats to come in and seize the message immediately. This man is clearly in late stage dementia. He's propped up by his handlers all around. He's getting manipulated by Russia. Benjamin Netanyahu is steamrolling all over him. Who is fighting for the American people? These working class people that get up, go to work, never get a raise, their insurance company. So I'm sorry, we're not going to cover that exam. We're not going to cover that test. We're not going to cover that treatment. Who is fighting for them right now? Because I can assure everybody in the United States of America, nobody in the White House gives a shit about you. Period. All they want is your vote and to keep you indoctrinated into right-wing media echo chambers.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. He's not surrounded by experts because he has put yes men around him. Here's what he says about after a question is asked about this conflict with Iran and Israel.
Answer questions about whether you are moving closer or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question. Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you?
Okay, here's the thing. He's having a two-way conversation with himself in front of cameras. That's alarming. But then he goes on to say, well, Iran wants to negotiate with me. They've got big problems, which is the alpha male bravado that he brings to everything. Like he wants Iran to come to him and say, oh, dear leader, please help us. Well, guess what Iran said after he said that? Breaking. Iran denies the U.S. President Donald Trump's claim of Iranian officials seeking a White House meeting. Here's the thing. MAGA lets Trump lie about everything. Trump's inner circle lets him lie about everything.
Corporate media.
Corporate media, one of the worst offenders.
But let's inject some facts into here. The facts of the matter is the Obama administration worked out a deal with the Iranians regarding the enrichment of uranium. Trump didn't like anything that Obama did. So in 2018, he pulled the United States out because he said, quote, I will make a better deal. He didn't. No. He's incapable of it. Because he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, his rube, uneducated followers think and assume that he's successful at making deals. And that is another one of the big lies. And we need to start listing all of the big lies. It's not that that dipshit won in 2020. It's that that dipshit is not a patriot, doesn't care about the American people, cannot make deals. The fact that he's the one that led to this moment, twofold. Number one, that he pulled out of the Obama administration's deal with Iran, nuclear deal with Iran. He pulled out in 2018 because he just doesn't like Obama, because he's black. Let's face it. Let's call a spade, and he's wildly more popular than Trump could ever be. And number two, Benjamin Netanyahu sees how weak he is. Benjamin Netanyahu asked Biden, can I bomb Iran? Will you guys have my back? Biden said no. He asked Obama. Obama said no. For 30 years, Benjamin Netanyahu has been spewing this propaganda. And if we're going to war, if we're sending one missile, one troop, one taxpayer cent, which we're already knee deep with Israel and all of this stuff, put up or shut up. I seriously doubt that these people have nuclear weapons, just the same way that Iraq didn't have nuclear weapons. This is Israeli propaganda trying to suck the American taxpayer into another costly war that will add to our deficit, which has led us completely vulnerable to elect these faux strongmen. And it's just American foreign policy, and all of the horrible decisions that we've ever made as a country have all come to a head, and they're all realized in this dipshit Donald Trump.
That is why it is so important that we know what is actually happening. Facts have, they're nowhere anymore. You have to go find your own facts when getting your news. And that's why Jennifer and I are so happy with Ground News. Ground News takes all of the news, aggregates it in one spot. It allows you to know what the right is saying about an issue, what the left is saying about an issue. For example, the U.S. State Department to vet social media of student visa application for signs of terrorist group support. That's what it says on the right. On the left, it says student visa applicants must unlock social media accounts. You can tell a real difference in how that's presented. And that is why it's so important to get news from a source that you know is factual. You know who wrote it. You know if they have a high factuality, low factuality, mixed factuality. It is such an important tool. So join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that we use every day. They're subscriber funded and female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work. That's Ground, GROUND, news.com/IHIP. And there will be a link in the show notes. Strongly encourage you guys to do this. It is so, so important that we know that we're looking and learning facts during this very difficult time. And then another thing, kind of going back to Trump, thinks he's a strong man. He thinks everybody needs him. I mean, I might remind you, 90 deals in 90 days. We've had one with the UK that he said was part of the European Union. So he is also lying about his involvement in negotiations with India. Here we go. This is what Trump said. It's got a little side-by-side, which I love.
The deal I'm most proud of is the fact that we're dealing with India, we're dealing with Pakistan, and we were able to stop potentially a nuclear war through trade as opposed through bullets. You know, normally they do it through bullets. We do it through trade. So I'm very proud of that.
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने Prime Minister Modi clearly told President Trump that during this entire episode, there was never any discussion at any level about an India-US trade deal or US mediation between India and Pakistan. The discussion to halt military action occurred directly between India and Pakistan through existing channels.
Okay, so here's the thing. Trump gets away with lying to his base all day, every day. He's got Fox News propaganda propping up his lies, this whole right-wing media echo chamber propping up his lies. But then he goes on the world stage, and after making an ass of himself over and over and over, they call him out. World leaders are calling him out. And you know what all of this tells me? They know how weak Donald Trump is.
I mean, this is just to get us to the midterms, if we get there. And I believe that this fascist regime, the Trump regime, will do everything in their power to keep normalizing and declare some sort of martial law and do whatever they can to prevent a blue wave at the midterms, because they know that Trump has done illegal shit and they know the Democrats will impeach him. And if we get to a free and fair election in 2028, I don't think it's just going to be a blue wave. I think it's going to be a blue tsunami. Mm-hmm. And that's assuming that there isn't any tinkering with ballot boxes. And I just do not trust with anything in me that these people are going to very fairly say, let's arrive at this election. Today, we can wake up and report Trump is lying to people. Tomorrow, we can wake up and report Trump is lying to people. That is just the way the United States government is right now. We lie to world leaders. We lie to the news. We lie. We propagandize. We have weird interests with Russia, weird interests with Israel. Where's the truth in this? The Democrats have got to jump in. Who is fighting for the American people right now? Because it is not Donald Trump. It is not Pete Hegseth. Yeah, they might throw in, the Bible, and they might wear a cross. They don't give a shit about you. They have set up this entire budget bill, so that they can consolidate more power in the executive branch, and that the middle class and the working class, it's a punitive bill towards them. This party, the guy who you think is going to save you, is punitive. He wants to hurt you even more and enrich his friends more. And I read an article recently that these applications for these green cards, or whatever his card is that you
his gold card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those are booming through the roof. Well, who's vetting this? I mean, so this is at the crux of the problem with Trump and Trumpism. On the one hand, he says, we have to worry about illegal immigration. We need to vet these people that are coming in. So we're just going to round them all up and send them away because this is just terrible. They're all rapists, blah, blah, blah. He says all of this stuff with impunity without any of it being fact checked. On the same time, you're going to have people that probably maybe are Iranian or maybe are Saudi Arabian, which I'm not saying that they shouldn't have due process to be able to come through and apply for citizenship. I know that not all Iranians want to build a nuclear weapon and bomb the West. I know that. I know that not all Jewish people even remotely support Benjamin Netanyahu's provocations and propaganda. I know that. I know that all of us on this planet are just trying to find some semblance of peace and serenity and get through all of these fascist leaders that are trying to consolidate power. But the crux of MAGA is they say one thing here and then another thing that is 180 degrees the opposite. And that is where democracy dies, in this type of moral duplicity and the lack of clarity. And it lives and permeates in Trumpism and in the MAGA movement. And now, sadly, that is American foreign policy and domestic policy.
You're exactly right. And it is terrifying. That's all we have for today. Please, if you're watching and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Oh, upside down. Jennifer and I wrote a book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. We think you'll really enjoy it. It's a great beach read. Have a great rest of your day.